You are looking at Kingston Stadium on a beautiful night for high school football. Our Game of the Week presents the Little Hawks of Iowa City High and the Kennedy Cougars. Good evening and welcome. I'm Rob Brooks along with Bob James. And tonight, Bob, we have a City High team that maybe after week one there was a lot of questions in losing to Xavier, but they were able to pop back last week and take care of Dubuque Wahlert 28-0.
Well, absolutely. I think there's no doubt that Xavier, again, this year is a very good football team. But as you said, City High not used to losing right out of the gate. Came back last week, only gave up 3 first downs in that game. And they had the conference defensive player of the week in Greg Altmaier, who had just a tremendous game. And I think Kennedy tonight, off to an 0-2 start, has got to make sure that they stay in the game early, or it could be a long night.
And that was something they were not able to do last week, and a lot of teams won't be able to do in losing to the Washington Warriors at 55-12. And the week before that, they went up to Hempstead, a game they really thought they could win. It was penalties and giving up big plays that really hurt the Cougars, and that's something they can't do here tonight.
No, absolutely not. And Iowa City High is a team that plays great defense, as we mentioned. Kennedy likes to throw the football. I mean, they've averaged 35 throws the first 2 games, so it's going to be a long night probably, because a lot of passes usually means a long football game.
So Kennedy will try to avoid starting the 2003 campaign at 0-3, as we will have the Cougars and the Little Hawks after this. And the Cougar cheerleaders are ready for this one. Along with Bob James, this is Rob Brooks. High School Game of the Week presented by Happy Joe's is underway. City High tries to set up a return out to the 21-yard line as Phil Kenny takes it out to that spot, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Little Hawks of Iowa City High.
Josh Keppel making the stop for Kennedy, and some of the green and yellow balloons released from the home side of the field. Of course, homecoming tonight for the Cougars, and they are represented very well on this side of the stadium.
And Cougars will be fired up for this one, Bob, as we mentioned in the open, starting the season 0-2, destroyed last week, as a lot of teams will, by the Washington Warriors. And then a very winnable game to open the season, as City High tries to strike long, and the ball is incomplete, intended for Tony Sturgill. Good defense there as City High tried to open things up quickly.
Absolutely. Saheed Camara was there to knock the receiver down. The ball was a little overthrown. Camara, as a matter of fact, and named the homecoming king right before the football game tonight.
And you got a big round of applause. That seemed to be a popular choice.
Well, I guess it should be, because I think the students still vote for him, I would hope. But yeah, that was a very loud cheer. A couple of Kennedy touchdowns, and I bet we'll make a louder one tonight, though.
The City High quarterback is Ryan Kennedy, 6'5" senior, and he will try to throw it in the air again, and does, and almost picked off. Good defense by Derek Hinkey, got a hand on it.
And very nice pass rush that time by the Kennedy defense as well. Ryan Lavin, just one of 3 Cougars who broke through into the offensive backfield and made him hurry the ball a little bit, and ball knocked away. And then if a Kennedy player would have been a little closer, might have had an interception out near midfield, but it brings up a 3rd and long. Kennedy off to a nice start defensively.
And as you watched Kennedy's tape last week, the Warriors struck very quickly, I think scoring on 3 of their first 5 plays from scrimmage. So 2 pass plays have not worked for City High. 3rd down and 10 on a draw, and there is a big hole for Kenny. Gets the 1st down out past the 35.
Well, Kennedy obviously was looking for the pass, and as soon as the ball was pitched and he got away from the initial rush of the Kennedy defenders, there was only one man home over on the far side of the field, and he was unable to make the tackle in the open field.
Great play fake by City High, and Kenny found the hole off the left side. The Cougars had to look into this situation, Bob, thinking pass.
Absolutely. Mike Russell was the guy over there in no man's land. It was he in the back, and the back got the victory there on that first down run for City High.
Hit the hole quickly and then was in open territory. And on first down, the Little Hawks stay on the ground, and once again, that'll be Kinney and maybe a yard.
Luke Dolan there to make the stop. Nice job that time, clogging up the middle for the Cougar defense.
So City High, known for its defense, scored 28 points against a Wahlert team that was supposed to be much improved. They thought they might be the top team in Dubuque this year.
Kennedy definitely, when he drops back to pass, gets a good view of the field at 6'5", you mentioned earlier. He is a big, big man.
Kinney slips at the line of scrimmage, and good penetration by the front four of Kennedy. First man to hit was Ryan Lavin.
Already called Lavin's name a couple of times here tonight, so another 3rd and long for Kennedy, and this time, what do you look for? I think you'd have to look for the pass again. Although the last time they had 3rd and 10, City High was able to run for the first down.
Little draw play, so this will bring up 3rd and 11. First possession of the game for the Little Hawks. This drive started at their own 21. Kennedy goes to the air. Is hit as he released the ball and underthrows the intended receiver, Joel Rocca.
Well, it's a very impressive first defensive stand by the Kennedy Cougar defense. That time the linebackers stayed at home until all the backs had cleared to make sure that they weren't going to hand that football off. Then they came on the rush, and the linebackers and the defensive line combined to put a lot of pressure on Kennedy.
Tim Lewis has to be happy with that defensive stand, as the Little Hawks will have to punt it away. Punt is high in the air, but didn't get much out of it, as DP Iman hit it maybe about 19 yards, so it's going to be great field position for the Cougars, and we'll get a look at their first offensive set of downs tonight. Mark Patterson is the quarterback, and as you mentioned in the open, Bob James, he has a pretty strong arm, and the Cougars like to put it up.
Absolutely. I believe he's thrown the ball 71 times in their first 2 games. Not a real high completion percentage, but Kennedy will most likely put the ball up a lot again tonight.
Patterson, he hands it, and this will be Curtis Meyer getting close to a first down. We'll give him a gain of 9 to the 45, and just like that, the Cougars are into Little Hawk territory.
Well, you mentioned that Kennedy was going to be fired up for this football game. City High looks a little flat here in the early moments, and second down, short yardage coming up for the Cougars. Going to mark him out of bounds a little bit short of what we thought. He must have stepped out of bounds.
Yep, we'll mark it at the 47. Bring up second down at 3. And this is Meyer again, fights for a tough yard, as the first man to hit him for City High would be Greg Altmaier, 6-foot senior.
Altmaier was the defensive player of the week last week in the conference. 11 tackles, blocked a punt, caused and recovered a fumble, setting up a touchdown too. So that was a season in one game for Greg last week.
And did not allow a point. Only given up 8.5 points on average in their first 2 contests. Stand at 1-1. Patterson goes to the air. The ball is caught. It is enough for a first down. Brad Christensen hooks up with Mark Patterson, and the Cougars move the chains.
And a nice job by Christensen. We'll see here on this replay. The throw's a little low, right around the knees, but Christensen able to go down and get it and hang on, and took a pretty good lick, but got first down yardage. The hit put on him by Tony Sturgill for City High. So already a first down for the Cougars. Last week, Wahlert only had 3 the whole game against City High.
It's always been a rule of thumb. You don't want to play City High after a loss. Meyer tries to turn the corner. Does, and gets out of bounds. He is hit first by Tony Sturgill.
And he showed some pretty good wheels getting around the outside. Looked like he might be cut off before he was able to turn upfield, but he gets about 5 yards out of it. Kennedy keeps moving the football from south to north.
So, Bob, they did show signs of being able to move the football last week against a very stern Washington Warrior defense. They would get into about the 20-25-yard line and then would either run into a lot of penalties or turn the ball over. So they did rack up some yardage, however, as this pass goes incomplete, intended for Derek Hickey, and he had a big game against the Warriors last week.
I was actually just going to mention that. Don't want to jinx Kennedy, but they've done a very nice job so far. No penalties against them to start the game. As a matter of fact, we haven't seen a flag yet. I should never ever say that.
Well, see you later.
Yep, I should never ever say that. Should have learned my lesson by now. But anyway, third down.
You would think. Next thing you'll say is the game's going quickly.
Nope.
Here's a delay to Meyer, tries to find a hole, and he is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Good defensive pursuit by the Little Hawks, led by Mike Sabers.
I'm sure that Kennedy thought their City High would expect them to put the ball in the air, so they tried to keep it on the ground. Didn't work out. Fourth down, and we've got a little bit of a helmet issue for Curtis Meyer, who's going to come out and get that worked on.
And the Cougars get into punt formation. Then Mowinkle does the punting for the Cougars, and we have our first flag.
Yep, sorry. And it's against Kennedy. And interestingly enough there, City High wasn't putting anybody back deep. They really thought Kennedy was going to fake it and go for the first down. Now they will, however, drop two people back as it brings up fourth and about, 9 or 10 yards to go.
Back deep for the Little Hawks is Joel Rocca. And also Nick Mullenbrunch.
Well, Kennedy is running a different formation to be sure, but they will indeed get them.
And Mowinkle kicks this one straight, aiming toward the sidelines, and gets a nice roll, Bob, down to the 14-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like it would probably kick right out of bounds, but didn't. It went downfield, and that'll put City High back inside their own 15-yard line to start, and Kennedy will go out and see what they can do defensively again.
So the Little Hawks were able to rack up a couple of first downs. Out in the I formation behind Ryan Kennedy. 6'5" senior. Here's a sweep. And a good hit at the 18-yard line. That is Gordon Gotchi, as he was able to rack up Phil Kennedy. Kennedy's kind of been the workhorse on the ground for the Little Hawks.
He sure has, and you can hear the Kennedy coaches happy with that defensive play, or maybe not happy with it actually. Wanted to cut it off a little bit quicker, but you can really hear the sounds of the game down on the field.
Good hard hit in there by the Cougars after a gain of 5. And you could see on the replay, Kinney fighting for those extra yards, and they'll try the same play the other way. And this one is going to be close enough for a first down as he tried to cut it back.
Blake Fisher is the guy that made the stop that time for the Cougars.
Lavin also in there.
You'll see Kenny try and spin away from the tackle, and he did a good job of staying with it and taking the legs out.
Fisher held him up. Lavin finished him off. And the gain of 3 brings up 3rd and 1. Kinney, hard run, gets enough for first down. Wasn't a ton of room there before Brett Schultz brought him down at the 28-yard line, but that will be the 3rd first down for the Cougars. Or make that for the Little Hawks against the Cougars, and here's Kinney fighting for those tough yards.
Last week you mentioned that City High quick strikes offensively, or excuse me, Kennedy gave up quick strikes to Cedar Rapids, Washington. So far today, City High's been able to move the football a little bit, but no big plays yet.
All on the ground. Kinney, another
oh man, what a
play,
hit.
and a huge hit on the interior there by Derek Hinkey. He had some help, and immediately a flag comes out. Let's credit Nick Dolan with being there too, and it will be a hold on the Little Hawks.
That was just an incredible hit that Hinkie put on him. Let's get a look at that replay here and see if we see the tackle on the right side of your screen. Oh, see the end, and then the hold obviously took place right around the ball carrier. As you see the flag come in right where the ball was after everybody got up.
So the ball will be moved back to the 20. And we'll bring up 1st and 18. Cougar defense digging in. Kennedy looks to go to the air. And he overshoots the intended receiver. That was Sabres. But there again, Bob, good defense. Everybody in position in the secondary for the Cougars.
Absolutely, they're doing a nice job. Kennedy's having a little bit of trouble too with his accuracy so far. We saw in the first drive, a couple of passes that were low, and this time he's quite a bit high to the intended receiver.
I do not believe that City High has completed a pass.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, offensively been on the ground. And they'll try that draw. Kinney, huge hole. Gets out to the 35-yard line, is brought down by Mike Russell.
And again, Russell is out there all by himself and makes a key tackle, because if he gets by him, that might have been 6 for the Little Hawks.
And this has been the best offensive play. We've seen this play twice, and those have been the 2 big gainers by Kinney.
Big gain of about 15 yards on that play, and as you said, they converted a 3rd down and 10 on that exact same play earlier in the game.
Kinney, 5'11", 183-pounder, looks to throw a pass, and he does, and it's caught. So Phil Kinney doing it all into Cougar territory at the 45-yard line. Joel Rocca made the catch.
Nick Dolan smelled it out for the Kennedy defense, but he was not able to get back into the backfield and make the hit before the throw. And if he gets a little more on that, that's going to be a touchdown, because he had gotten behind the defenders, as you can see, and had to come back and get the football. Would have been an easy 6 points for Joel Rocca, who, as it turns out, in stopping, reversing his momentum, made a great play.
Kinney did get a little bit on that ball, having to stop and really not have any forward motion. So a drive that started at the 14 now is at the 45 of Kennedy. Kennedy slings it, and it's caught at the 40 and then hit out of bounds, and making his first catch is Tony Sturgill. We've called his name a couple of times on defense. He's run out of bounds by Camara and Baltrama.
City High starting to move that football with some success now. Brings up another 2nd down and 5. If you get 5 yards on every play, you're going to be pretty successful.
And don't forget that big holding penalty that took him back to the 20. Here's Kinney. Breaks a couple of tackles to about the 25-yard line before he's finally pushed out of bounds by Mike Russell. And Bob, that play has been open all night long around that left end.
Yeah, Kinney's got good wheels. He's able to outrun the Kennedy defense, and again, a touchdown saving tackle over on the far side, because once he gets out there, Kamara kind of pushed him and got him toward the sideline, and then coming over to make the hit and finally knock him out of bounds was Mike Russell again, and Russell has had his name called quite a few times here in the first quarter.
Kennedy on a play fake. And this one is thrown out of bounds. Good coverage downfield, as looked like Sabres was in the area, but Blake Fisher was certainly draped all over him.
And that Kennedy defensive line continuing to do a good job putting pressure on Kennedy. And Hamilton in there that time, and Beltramo again as well. Made him force the throw and get there a little bit quicker than he wanted to, and just threw it out of bounds. And probably a good move there, down getting very close to field goal territory here.
Well, we certainly know what City High's bread and butter play has been. Second down and 10, ball spotted, 25-yard line. Deepest penetration by either team tonight, and penalty marker comes out.
We saw Kennedy jump, but we'll see if they were called offsides. Or drawn off. Actually, they called delay of game.
So that will be on the Little Hawks and move the ball back to the 30. No score. 3:26 left to go in the first quarter. Kingston Stadium. Kennedy Cougars 0-2. The Little Hawks of City High 1-1. Kennedy goes to the air. Has a man wide open at the 27 and just could not come up with it as Altmaier. A little down and out pattern, Bob, but wide open.
Yeah,
but just couldn't hook up with Ryan Kennedy.
That ball kind of floated out there, and I think poor Altmaier didn't think it was ever going to get there, and then when it finally did, he had to try and reach down and back at the same time and just wasn't able to pull it in.
You always think that down and out pattern is a real easy one, but it's a fairly long throw for a quarterback.
Absolutely.
A lot of timing involved as well. Third down and 15. Kennedy through the air again. This one is caught. Beautiful catch and a move toward the end zone. Touchdown, Little Hawks. That is Scott Knight with his first catch.
Very nice cutback by Knight and a beautiful throw to start the play by Kennedy, who put that one exactly where he wanted to, and Kennedy is down again tonight, 6-0. City High jumps out in front here late in the first quarter.
So Knight with the reception and then a nifty move at the 10-yard line. Cuts it back into the end zone. 25-yard pass play, Kennedy to Knight. So the Little Hawks get set for the extra point try. Alex Fisher on for that. And with 3:11 left to go in the first quarter, the Little Hawks on top, 7-0. We'll be back.
Have it here or have it there. Happy Joe's is made to share. Good times to be together. Happy Joe's.
Taco pizza with extra cheese or a birthday batch of you.
Please, 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 please treat your kids and have some fun. Bring your mom and dad or your favorite one. Good times to be together. Happy.
Welcome back to the high school game of the week presented by Happy Joe's. Kennedy takes the City High kickoff, looking for some running room and good special teams coverage by City High. Pat Griffin made the first hit.
Now very important for Kennedy's offense to try and establish something here. Their defense, first drive, did a very nice job, and that time took a long time for City High to get down the field, but they eventually did it, and we'll see on a very, very nice connection here from Kennedy to Knight.
Perfect pass as Kennedy is heating up, and then the cut back there at about the 15. Spin move, and Knight knew exactly where to go with it as he puts Little Hawks up 7-0. And a little delay goes nowhere for Meyer as he is swarmed under by the Little Hawks.
Well, as is often the case, you get some points on the board, that gives your defense some momentum, and City High just flew to the ball that time.
There's Sabers, Michael Sabers in on the stop. Pretty impressive drive, Bob, by the Little Hawks. It started at their 14-yard line, so they drove 86 yards, and that was with a holding penalty after they had penetrated the 30 that took them back to the 20. There's a pass play that works for the Cougars out to the 33-yard line. And that will be Meyer on the reception, gain of about 7.
Well, Kennedy continues to have some success through the air. Christensen has made some nice plays out there and some good-looking throws here in the early going, as we expected the case to be.
So Meyer, his first reception tonight. Crucial third down for the Cougars. They'll try to get it on a running play, and this is not going to go anywhere. Zach Buxton made the first hit, and the Cougars now are going to have to punt it away. It looked like if Patterson was able to keep the ball, there was some room around the right end.
Yeah, Kennedy here in the first quarter hasn't had much success at all going straight up the middle. They've had some through the air and then some around the ends, but going up the middle, tough going, and that was one of the same right there.
So Mo Winkle will boot it away. And it's going to be returnable for the Little Hawks. Rocca. And special teams works well for the Cougars. This gets out to about the 45-yard line. Gibson was there. So now it's going to be up to the Kennedy defense again, Bob, after really having an onslaught of offense and a great drive by the Little Hawks on their second possession.
Yeah, there was not a lot of time on the bench for the Kennedy defense. They went off the field with 3:11 to go in the quarter, and they're back on there just 2 minutes and 11 seconds later.
Kennedy, little bootleg, keeps it himself, gets a pretty good block, and is going to get about 4 out of it.
There is a flag down, and
it might be
came down pretty quick. It might be a procedure call, although holding is definitely a possibility as well.
If it came out early, it's not what I thought it might be. It might be a block in the back later on in the play, but it will be procedure against the Little Hawks. That's their second penalty.
Bad news for the Kennedy defense is this sets up that run to the left side by Kinney. That's when they get into a tough spot, that seems to be the play they call, and it's had a lot of success so far.
I really credit the City High left side of the offensive line, where you look at the big boys on the left side on first down and 15. Kennedy through the air. Almost caught, but knocked away just at the last second by Blake Fisher. Pass intended for Sturgill.
That's a big-time play by Fisher. He was right there. You'll see on the replay, as you mentioned, Rob, he knocked it away just in time. Perfect timing on that.
Well, that's a big defensive move by Fisher, because then instead of looking at second down and short, it's still second down and 15. Ball on the City High 39. Here's Kinney. Finds a hole briefly and then is wrapped up at the 40.
Good job by Tony Hamilton. I think he's the one that grabbed the jersey and held on and then got some help from his comrades.
Dolan came in there. So just a gain of 1 that looked like it could have been more, but Kennedy closed the gap in a hurry. So we'll see what Ryan Kennedy and the Little Hawks can do on 3rd and 14. Looks to go deep. Overshoots everybody. Joel Rocca was in the neighborhood, but right there with him was Derek Hinkey.
I continue to be impressed by that Kennedy defensive line. They're pushing the O-line of the Little Hawks back toward Kennedy, and that time made him throw the ball a little early again. It was Luke Dolan that time who got in there.
The Kennedy defense has done a good job stopping the run, particularly on the first City High possession and then the third. Did have some big runs in the second possession. But the Cougars will get pretty good field position. as the last play of the first quarter. Mike Russell handled the ball out to about the 38-yard line. So 1 in the books. It's the Little Hawks 7, the Cougars nothing. We'll be back to Kingston right after this. First down and 10, the ball on the 39-yard line. Cougars see if they can get some offense generated. Here's Meyer looking for some room, gets about to the 42-yard line. And awaiting him there is Phil Kinney.
He got over here to the right side and ran out of help from the blockers and really had nowhere to go. Picked up a couple, though, and Kennedy in pretty good field position, their best field position of the night.
Kingston Stadium, I'm Rob Brooks along with Bob James. Glad you could join us for High School Game of the Week presented by Happy Joe's. Beautiful night for high school football on the last weekend of summer. It's a little bit depressing.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
2nd and 7 after a gain of 3. Up the middle. Good yardage there for Blake Fisher.
But if it weren't for summer ending, we wouldn't have high school football. So we have to definitely be thankful for that, I guess.
No doubt about that. So Fisher, a good hard run to about the 48. And that'll bring up 3rd and 2. And Bob, the last time that the Cougars had 3rd down and short yardage, they tried to go right up the middle and didn't get anything. On their last 3 and out, we'll see what the Cougars come up here. And the penalty marker comes out. Took too much time.
Don't see that a lot, and especially the 3rd game of the season. That's twice tonight. We've seen it once on each side of the ball.
Well, unfortunately, the Cougars have had about every type of penalty that is conceivable in the first 3 weeks of the season. And that's a crucial one. Boy, you go from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 7. And now the Cougars work out of the shotgun. And the ball is dropped. Christensen couldn't hang on to it and really tried to turn up field before he caught it. And really would have been short of a first down anyway.
Muhlenbrock and Kinney were there defensively for City High, and it's possible that he might have heard footsteps or just took his eye off the ball before he made the catch. His head did turn upfield awfully quick.
Knowing he had to get some extra yardage to get to the first down marker. So 4th and 7, punting situation. That brings on a busy Ben Mowinkle. Twin safety back for City High. High snap. Little Hawks almost get to it. And it is picked up, a returnable ball. About 6 yards for Mullenbrunch.
And again, we call the name of Mike Russell, who made the play for Kennedy, and we have a City High player down on the field.
So that'll be an injury timeout. And that'll give us a chance to step aside, and we will be back to Kingston after this. First and 10 for the Little Hawks. An incomplete pass will bring up 2nd down and 10. Want to let you know, too, right here on Mediacom Connections, the rest of the schedule. Big one next week. The crosstown rivals of Cedar Rapids, Jefferson, and Washington. We'll get to go to Marion for the first time on October the 3rd. And then, Bob, a showdown that everybody's looking forward to, Xavier and Washington, as Xavier has some speed, and it's going to be interesting to see if those two teams maybe go into that game undefeated.
Yeah, they very well could be, and that'll be one of the toughest challenges of the year, definitely for Washington. Xavier off to another early lead tonight from what we understand. That was a strange play that time. Kennedy threw the ball, and his receiver was laying on his back on the ground but caught it. Didn't get much, but he did make the catch, so he can put that in the stat book for him.
And that was Phil Kinney. We've seen run all over the place tonight, and we'll get another chance here. Kinney turns it up to about the 48. Good pursuit by the Cougars.
And a good job once again by the Kennedy defense. It'll bring up 4th down and a long 2 for the Little Hawks.
That will bring the punting unit on the Kingston Stadium natural grass surface. Hyman gets set to send it deep for the Little Hawks. Angles it out of bounds at about the 32-yard line, so the Cougars will start there. So the defense, after giving up that pass play for 7 with 3:11 left to go in the first, as Kennedy hooked up with Knight for 25 yards. The Kennedy defense has been particularly good against the pass, but now showed some strength up front as well.
Absolutely, and they've continually given the offense pretty decent field position. The Kennedy offense got near midfield on the last set of downs, and they'll try and do better here.
Go to the air and incomplete, as Patterson had Fisher open momentarily, but a good close by the Little Hawks.
It was Kinney or Altmaier. I'm not sure which of those two that were there, but
both were in the neighborhood.
They came up and knocked the ball down just in the nick of time, or that would have been easily the biggest play of the game for Kennedy, and a 1st down in City High territory.
Reed Patterson held on to that ball a little long. Brings up 2nd down and 10. Second best field position that the Cougars have started with. They try a little option keeper and maybe get a couple of yards. Good pursuit from behind by Mullenbrook.
It's actually a good thing that Patterson kept the ball, because had he handed off to Fisher, it would have been a loss of 2 or 3 yards.
And it kind of looked like Fisher wanted it, and they played tug of war there for a split second.
Yeah, I actually thought he had the ball at first, and then Patterson was running to the far side with the ball. Like you say, somebody missed an assignment there.
Patterson, a good-looking athlete at 6'4". And this is complete out near midfield, making his first catch tonight, Hinkie. And that will move the chains.
That's a beautiful throw. He dropped it right in between 2 defenders for 1st down yardage that time.
Let's take another look at this. Good concentration by Hinkie, because he knew he was going to get hit hard, and there's that delayed keeper. Patterson works it for 4 and gets into City High territory.
I'm not real sure that Blake Fisher likes that play, though. He's getting hammered, but positive yards for City High, or excuse me, for Kennedy, and the Cougars for the first time tonight have the football in City High territory.
So the drive started at the 34, and Kennedy offense has shown some life. Twin wideouts to the bottom of your screen. And they look that way, and Patterson has that one deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that time City High did a nice job of getting into the backfield a little bit, able to knock it down. It was intended over here on the near side for either Christensen or Hinkie. They were both over there, and the ball was knocked down too soon to really be able to tell who it was intended for.
Another big 3rd down conversion upcoming for the green and gold. 3rd and 7.
Plenty of receivers. They've got 3 wide left, 1 wide right.
Patterson goes to the air and throws it intended for Nick Wolf, but really had to get rid of it before he wanted to, as the oncoming rush of City High was too much.
Well, Kennedy not able to put much of a drive together. They get, one or two first downs, and then that City High defense strengthens, and this time Kennedy will try and put City High back deep in their own territory to start.
So Mulwinkle on again. Beautiful kick, returnable ball. Good coverage by the Cougars as nowhere to go for Joel Rocca.
And City High got pretty close to blocking that one. We had a bad snap earlier, and they came pretty close to knocking the ball down. That time, everything about the play was clean, but Kennedy's punt blocking is going to have to be careful, or they're going to get one knocked back in their face before this night is over.
Adam Collins was there. Almost got to Mulwinkle's boot.
Yeah, maybe he should have tried to flop there. You never know.
And the other one, when the high snap, there was a return on by City High. If they were really coming all out, might have been blocked. And the penalty marker flies again.
And I believe we're going to have offside against Kennedy.
Good call, Bob James, and that will bring up 1st and 5 for the Little Hawks.
You could definitely see the left side of the defensive line jump, and didn't seem to be any movement on the red and white side of the ball.
Ball spotted now on the 26. Pretty good size hold for Kinney. He moves the pile, and that will be good enough for a first down after a gain of 8.
That time there seemed to be a little bit of confusion in the defensive backfield for the Cougars. All the linebackers were moving around and kind of ended up in a straight line 4 across when the ball was finally snapped.
Real nice block in there too by Ryan Duffy. Offensive lineman, junior, 5'8", 266. Kinney spins for a couple. Camara and also Cornish. They're on the stop for the Cougars.
Tyson Wordy over here on the near side trying to lead the blocking for City High, but too many guys for him to block, and they were able to make the stop after just a short gain.
So give Kinney just one. That'll bring up 2nd down and 9. The ball on the 36. Kinney looks to throw his 2nd pass of the night. And this one is defended well, knocked away by Derek Hinkey.
Nice play, nice looking throw that time by Kinney as well. Was able to get stopped and get a little more on that one. As you see, he plants and is really able to get something behind that throw, but not quite far enough downfield. Maybe another, 1 yard maybe even would have done the trick. But as you said, a very, very nice defensive play.
A couple of the throws have been underthrown. Renko, the intended receiver, going for those big targets at 6'3". There's a pass play that'll work, and breaking a tackle is Sabers, and he gets into Cougar territory.
And he got away from Mike Russell. Russell was giving him a pretty good cushion, which is okay as long as you come up and make the stop, because where he hit him, he would have had him short of the first down, but he's able to spin away from it and easily make first down yardage into Kennedy territory.
Wide open. Russell, usually a sure tackle. Sabers was able to get away, and finally brought down by Blake Fisher.
And the Cougars want timeout. Some of the defenders are starting to be bent over with hands on knees. They've been on the field a lot here in the first half.
City High on the march again, and we'll be back to Kingston after this.
Oh, you got that right.
Welcome back to Kingston Stadium. Rob Brooks, Bob James with you. Game of the week presented by Happy Joe's Pizza. Great times to be together.
I guarantee you that Kennedy head coach Tim Lewis not happy. He took a timeout, got the defense on the sideline, and then another offside penalty against his Cougars.
He just has not been able to get that straight this year. By the Cougars' own admission, that's a heck of a time with penalties. 6:04 left to go in the first half. Little Hawks on top 7-0 and marching again on the Cougar 39. Kinney breaks one tackle at the line of scrimmage and gets to the 36. Gang tackled there. Matt Dolter, Brett Schultz.
It's a very hard run by Kenny. He's only 5'11", 183, but those defenders felt every single pound of that.
Yeah, the one thing about City High, they always have punishing tailbacks. Remember Matt Wooldrick a couple years?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Last couple of years, I mean, just a punishing running back. 2nd down and 1. Going deep.
Oh,
And hits the defender in the back. That is Camara as the intended receiver. And that was the guy who caught the touchdown pass, and Scott Knight tried to come back for the football, and the penalty marker has been thrown.
and if you turn your head, you probably got an easy interception on that play. Hit him right on the 2 on the back.
Take another look. Did not look. Face guarding. And that will really hurt the Cougars because now the ball will be just outside the 20-yard line.
So now back-to-back very key penalties against the Cougars.
First and 10. And a hole closes rapidly. Big hit on the inside by Curtis Meyer. Kinney had nowhere to go.
And you can see that Kennedy is clearly trying to draw the defensive line offside. That time you heard the hard count, and a couple of the Kennedy defenders flinched, but none of them went up across the line. And a pretty nice defensive stick that time after only a couple-yard gain.
Under 5 left to go in the first half. Second down and 8, the ball on the 19. Kennedy drops back. Cougars in pursuit. Throws across and caught by Sabres inside the 10.
Well, it wasn't the prettiest pass you'll ever see, but it got the job done. And it brings up another first down, and this time first and goal. First and goal that the Cougars have had tonight. That's a tough throw, though. Running toward the far side and throwing it back across your body on the dead run. Put it right there.
Curtis Meyer on the stop. And the Little Hawks have some big targets to go to. Kinney straight up the middle, blasts into the end zone, but there's a penalty marker at about the 10-yard line.
And I have a feeling it's going to be holding on Ryan Duffy. He's the only guy in the vicinity, and the official just threw the flag right down at him. And they'll bring that one back.
So that's what it'll be. There was a huge hole there for Kinney to sprint through. So that'll be a 10-yard penalty and take the ball all the way back to the 19.
Kind of returns the favor from that pass interference call a little bit ago. Each team's exchanging a penalty.
So first and 19 on the 19. Goal to goal. Into the end zone, caught, touchdown. Beautiful catch by Sabres.
Well, you mentioned a minute ago, Rob, that they've got some big targets, and that's what scored the touchdown right there. He was able to reach up over the defenders and grab that ball and then almost back into the end zone for 6.
And Kennedy put that one on the mark.
Yes, he did. Another very, very nice pass, taking advantage of the height of the receiver and dropping it right over the defensive backs.
So Michael Sabers, a 6'5" senior. Fisher, the extra point try, right through. And with 4:01 left to go in the first half. It's been all Little Hawks so far, 14-0. So we'll see what the Cougars can do here as they get a pretty good return out beyond the 30-yard line. Blake Fisher, good hard run up the middle. So just under 4 minutes to go, 3:54. And I'll tell you what, Bob, the Cougars really need some momentum, get something on the scoreboard.
Yeah, their defense, we've talked about it through the course of the first half. For the most part, they've played very, very well. And we'll get a look again at a terrific pass from Kennedy to Sabers here.
Had plenty of time, too. Credit the offensive line. Put it right where he had to. The 6'5" Sabres went up for it to give the Little Hawks that 14-0 lead. Little screen pass, maybe gets a couple. Meyer, 32 on 32. As Altmaier brought down Meyer.
Well, it's pretty easy to see why Altmaier had 11 tackles last week. Showed some great quickness on that play. Looked like a good block. Well, it was a good block over here by Kennedy, but Altmaier able to get around that and still make the tackle because he is so quick.
2nd and 10, no gain. Ball on the 33 out of the gun. And there's some running room again for Curtis Meyer. He stays in bounds out to about the 38.
See if Kennedy tries to go up the field. I think they'd have a little more success going up the field with the ball. They don't seem to have a lot of great speed out of the backfield, and they're trying to make yards after the catch, and it's not working out too well for them so far.
So 2 plays have net 4 yards, brings up 3rd and 6. And plenty of time for City High if Kennedy would have to punt it away. Meyer with the catch, gets the first down, out to the 48. Well-designed play as Alex Fisher there on the stop.
And another nice throw by Patterson and a first down yardage for Kennedy, and that is key as we come down the stretch here in the first half. Good job of splitting the defenders to get extra yards and hanging on to that football too with the City High defender Fisher draped all over him.
So the Cougars move the chains. They've just been in Little Hawk territory one time in this first half. Patterson goes to the air. This is incomplete. Intended receiver Blake Fisher well covered by the Little Hawks. Joel Rocca.
Adam Collins got the pressure on Patterson that time. And that throw was, well, to use a baseball term, low and outside.
That's right. And that's a situation too where, I mean, it wouldn't, even if it was caught, there's no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. City High might have jumped.
Oh, they're not going to call it.
And a big hole. So it works for the Cougars as Meyer, one of his better runs of the night, gets very close to first down.
One official signaled 3rd down, and the other officials say, well, let's bring in the chains and take a look.
Huge hole off the right side. Got a good block there from Christensen.
City High had at least one guy come out of his defensive stance, but apparently wasn't in the neutral zone when the ball was snapped.
Altmaier with another stop. And it looks like it's going to be shy by about a half a yard.
Hey, we're driving. Let's go. Let's go.
But it's only 3rd down, so it'll be 3rd down and less than a yard for the Cougars.
Hey, let's put one in here.
They have 2 timeouts remaining and 2:03 to work with.
And since City High has all 3 timeouts, I don't know, it'd be an interesting call to try and go for it if you don't make it here on 3rd down.
I think you almost have to. Being down 14. To make something happen. Patterson looks to the air. Caught. Down to the 35-yard line. And Blake Fisher on the reception.
Good job by Fisher. He really, everything almost looked like it was in slow motion for him on that play. He was going to make darn sure that he didn't drop that football. He got both hands wrapped around it before he headed upfield and easily gets the first down and the deepest penetration of the night for Kennedy.
Alex Fisher on the stop. And now these Kennedy receivers are finding some open space. 1st and 10 on the 34. And there's a big gainer close to first down for Brad Christensen. And so the short passing game has worked.
It sure is. Christensen did a nice job using his blockers that time too, going back to the center of the field, and he got quite a few extra yards out of this.
Christensen probably gets an extra 7 or 8 yards as the Little Hawks will take time out. Kennedy, obviously their best penetration of the night, down to the 24-yard line. Upcoming games on Mediacom Connections. Next week, to round out the September portion of the schedule, Jefferson and Washington. Jeff off to a difficult start this year, but that's always a fierce battle. And then we will go to Marion for the first time as Benton Community comes to town. And then October 9th, Xavier and Washington. Both teams could be undefeated there. And other great games as City High will come back to take on Washington, and then we'll get a look at Iowa City West on October 31st. So a lot of great Mississippi Valley football coming up right here on Mediacom Connections.
And Marion is off to a great start.
Yes, they are.
Let's go.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
They've got quite a passing game too.
First down and 10 for the Cougars. Look to go to the air one more time. Wide open is Christensen, and he gets to about the 17-yard line. And now the Cougars will just get up to the line of scrimmage and try to run a play.
Don't want to rush too much though. Plenty of time.
Especially with 2 timeouts. 4 wideouts. And wide open inside the 5-yard line. Great route by Curtis Meyer.
And another perfect pass by Patterson. He is really doing a good job throwing the football.
Yeah, he's in a real nice rhythm right now.
Well, don't stop now. Keep throwing the ball. He is on target. And another timeout.
Yeah, City High will try to cool him down here with 1:04 left to go in the half. What a huge drive this is, momentum-wise, for the Kennedy Cougars to get something on the board, but particularly if they could punch it into the end zone and then being down only a touchdown going into the second half.
Yeah, that would definitely be a big momentum boost for them. It would really change the feeling in the locker room, as even though it's only 14-0, up until this point, City High has really dominated the football game.
Well, one thing on this drive, the Cougars have really had the Little Hawks back on their heels with that short passing game, because they've had Christensen and Meyer and Fisher just wide open. And then, as we talked about, Mark Patterson is really in a nice rhythm here on this drive. Metro Foot. First and goal for the Cougars. Harrison goes to the air. The ball is incomplete at the 1-yard line. Intended for Blake Fisher, and there defensively was Zach Buxton.
And another great defensive play. The timing of the D-back there was perfect. The Kennedy staff was hoping to get a pass interference call, but no flag was forthcoming. So now down to exactly 1 minute to go. Still 2 timeouts on the Kennedy side of the ball.
Cougars have plenty of time, but they seem to have the Little Hawks off base a little bit and hurrying up to the line of scrimmage and getting those plays called quickly. And everybody out for a pass. Patterson, heavy rush, eludes it, fires the ball into the end zone. Blake Fisher.
Boy, that's all Patterson on that play. 3 different City High guys got into the offensive backfield. He was able to elude them, and then he had the field in front of him. Could have maybe even run that in, but then he found a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone.
So the Cougars get on the board. Patterson, a 5-yard pass to Blake Fisher. Extra point is good by Butters. And 53 seconds remain in the half, and the Cougars have some momentum. Kinney on the return out to about the 31-yard line. So the fired up special teams now of the Cougars do the job. There's the Cougar dance team.
Haven't seen those sweatshirts yet this year, but tonight they need them. It's a little chilly.
It's time, isn't it? Well, Little Hawk's going to put it in the air. Ball is caught out to about the 45-yard line. Rocca connects with Kennedy.
And he's able to get out of bounds, so stops the clock. Still 39 seconds to go, and a nice gain that time for City High. Now Kennedy, after scoring there, has got to keep City High off the board.
So Little Hawks do have 1 timeout remaining. And the Cougars take their second timeout. Sure they get the defense aligned. Coming up at halftime, we will have the King and Queen court ceremonies. Homecoming, some of them get earlier and earlier.
Well, that's what I was thinking earlier, too. Third game of the year seems a little early, but...
And just second home game.
But sometimes, you know, you play at Kingston Stadium, you might be the road team for a couple of weeks.
Let's have Luke Doles. You pick up number 3 if there's trips, or number 2 if it's doubles, okay? Nickel, angle. Let's go nickel, angle away, cover 1 combo. Nickel, angle away, cover 1 combo. Nickel, angle away, cover 1 combo. Ready!
So there's the defensive call for the Kennedy Cougars.
I'm not in your way, man.
First and 10, Little Hawks, their own 46. Kennedy goes deep, throws into triple coverage and almost caught. It was knocked away by Hinkie and then almost picked up off the rebound by Grenko.
And I think Blake Fisher then was able to finally knock it down to end the play after it, like you said, it bounced around for a while. Fisher, I guess, puts the hit on. No, I'm sorry, that's Russell. Fisher must have come in later. He's not even there at that time.
Grenko, another big receiver at 6'3".
That was a nice looking pass again that time by Kennedy. He put it in a good spot.
Looks to go deep again. This time it's tried to set up a screenplay. Great rush by the Cougars. And Grenko was the only receiver in the area.
Not a whole lot of blocking over there either if they did complete that pass. A lot of times when you see that many people break into the defense or into the offensive backfield, when you set up a screen, you're going to have 2 or 3 guys over there, but that wasn't the case that time.
So we'll see what the Little Hawks do on 3rd and 10. Fires it, intended for Scott Knight. But the Cougars, after that timeout, have really buttoned up the defense.
Well, and we see Patterson here on the near side for the Cougars. He's keeping warm. He was having such good success on that last offensive drive for Kennedy. He hates to put the football down, and he'll get another chance with just, 25 seconds left on the clock right now.
So the Little Hawks in punt formation. Hyman boots it away. Fair catch and some anxious moments there. But Blake Fisher hopped on the ball, and the Cougars will have it with 16 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
I think he may have actually tripped over the legs of his own player that time. If it would have been the other way around, it could have been a penalty and a little better field position. But the Cougars are going to have to strike pretty quickly here with just 16 seconds to go and 1 timeout to work with.
And we'll see if they just decide to sit on it, be happy to go into the locker room down 14-7. Here's a running play for a couple. That'll be Curtis Meyer.
Certainly looks like the case. Nobody's interested in stopping the clock, and it'll be a 7-point difference at the break.
Pretty good half of football. City High scored 2 touchdowns to go up 14-7, and the Cougars came back and scored late in the first half. So we got a ball game. Little Hawks 14, Cougars 7. Back with the halftime festivities after this. Halftime at Kingston Stadium. The Little Hawks of Iowa City High lead the Cougars at 14-7. Let's take a look at our Happy Joe's first half highlights. And it was all City High in the beginning as Knight catches a 25-yard touchdown pass from Kennedy, and he does the rest. Had to get some extra and City High goes up at 7-0. Then with 4:01 left to go in the second, Michael Sabers catches a great pass from Kennedy, 19 yards out, and the Little Hawks, after the extra point, 7. But then the Cougars scrap back under a minute left. Patterson finds Fisher in the end zone for 5 yards and gets the Cougars on the board and back into this ball game. So Bob James, an entertaining first half, and it really seemed like the Cougars in the later stages of the second quarter got some momentum, particularly offensively, went to that short passing game, and it was effective.
Yeah, their defense played well the whole first half. And as you said, Patterson, that drive where they went, almost the length of the field, looked very, very good. And Kennedy's going to get the football to start the second half, and they'll have a chance to tie this game up to start the third quarter. And I think if you would have told Kennedy coming into the game 0-2, facing a City High team that's perennially very, very good, that you'd be down 14-7 at halftime, I don't think there's any doubt that Kennedy would have said, we'll take that.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, a team trying to win their first game of the year. And as I've talked to some of the Cougar coaches, that first game of the year at Dubuque Hempstead, really, they wanted to set the tone with that, knowing that probably can't beat Washington, obviously a difficult game, and then come into this game at 1-1. But the penalties and giving up some big plays cost the Cougars against the Mustangs up in Dubuque. So Kennedy looking for first victory on homecoming night at Kingston. Second half underway. And the Cougars finally pick the ball up, and this is going to go nowhere.
Oh, you got to come up and catch that ball on the fly.
Gibson finally got it, but the high short kick allowed the special teams players of the Little Hawks to get downfield, get good pursuit, and now the Cougars are stuck on their own 15-yard line, but the good news is they have the ball.
And that was a case where the couple of Kennedy players just stood there and waited for the ball to hit. I think they easily could have come up and made the catch, but obviously they were concerned that City High might come up and meet them at the same time, and they didn't want to fumble, so instead they'll start with not great field position.
And we thought the Cougars might come out throwing the ball, but a running play for about 3 yards as Curtis Meyer carries it. It's a good gain on first down. Fisher in on the stop.
Kennedy's been able to chip away a little bit on the ground. Obviously the big plays for them offensively have come through the air, and Patterson had a pretty nice first half.
Especially engineering that last drive to put that touchdown on the board with 53 seconds remaining. And Patterson with the keeper. This is a play that looked like it would be open in the first half. Didn't really get much out of it, but Patterson scampers for a first down.
Nice job faking the handoff. He got the defense to commit, and then some wide open territory, enough for Patterson to run for first down yardage.
So Mark just seems a lot more confident here the last 2 or 3 possessions for the Cougars. They've already generated moving the chains. Ball on the 27. Patterson looks to go to the air. Fires across the middle, and it is caught out to the 43-yard line as Brett Schultz makes his first reception of the night and found an open area in the zone of the Little Hawks.
Well, you said the word right there, zone. Patterson is in one right now, and this time he throws the hands over the outstretched arms of defender Alex Fisher for City High, who's very frustrated afterwards because he thought he should have been able to make a play on that. But again, Patterson dropping the ball right where it needs to be and gets another first down.
These Cougar receivers are finding some open holes. Patterson tries to keep it, a huge hole up the middle, almost breaks a tackle out to the 49-yard line.
Well, the reason that that play is working for Kennedy, although 42 Fisher is getting hit immediately, there's nobody else there. He holds up that guy to trying to make the tackle, and there's room for Patterson to run for yardage, and he got 7 on that play.
Great block to free Patterson by Curtis Meyer. Altmaier finally made the tackle. Gain of 7, second down and 3. Ball all the way out to the 49, a drive that started at the Cougar 15. Patterson across the middle, and this one is picked off. Running with it is Rocca, and he brings it out to the 46. Tough break for the Cougars. The ball was tapped, and Joel Rocca gets the first interception of the night.
Well, and there was a lot of things that went right on that play for Kennedy. Just absolutely wonderful protection up front for Patterson, but then and a nice looking throw too, but right off the hands of the intended receiver and ricocheted right into the hands of City High's defender, and a nice return on that play as well.
Wonder if Zach Buxton got a hand on it. Let's take a look
I
here.
think he might have, yeah.
Yes, he
Yes,
did. So in and out of the hands of Buxton, and then the Little Hawks come up with it. Great camera work there as Buxton had a chance at it, and then Meyer for the Cougars had an opportunity. And Joel Rocca was the recipient, so a huge turnover gives the momentum back to the Little Hawks.
And after that interception return for City High, Brad Christensen came off the field for the Cougars, clapping his hands because he knows that could be a huge momentum turner, and he wants to keep his teammates up emotionally.
2nd and 7. Here's the give. Kinney explodes into the middle of the Cougar line for about 4.
Kennedy's defense continuing to do a solid job. One of the guys involved in the play was Nick Dolan.
Brett Schultz also there. 5. Cougars dig in. And he slings it, and it is caught. And almost breaking a tackle is Ryan Grenko.
He slipped out of the hands of Russell and Kamara, but wasn't able to keep his balance. Otherwise, that was going to be a sure 6 points.
So the Little Hawks convert on 3rd and long, and it will be 1st and 10 at the 32.
And it's gut check time for the Kennedy defense here. If they want to have a chance to win this football game, are going to have to stop the Little Hawks here.
Option play up the middle. Kennedy will get a couple. Ryan Lavin in on the stop.
Kennedy's had a little bit of success with that, so Kennedy, the quarterback on the other side, decided to give it a shot himself.
And picks up 3. Second and 7, ball on the 29. Kennedy goes to the air. And the ball is knocked away, intended for Sabres. Blake Fisher there, another good job to get his hand in there and break up the pass.
Well, we've seen a lot of very nice defensive plays by D-backs tonight. A lot of times in high school, those guys get beat, but we've seen both sides of the ball tonight. They're doing a very nice job sticking with receivers. And not only that, but timing hits on the receivers perfectly.
There's the close by Blake Fisher, who's only 5'11", and we talked about the nice targets that Ryan Kennedy has. The Sabres goes at 6'5", so he's given up 6 inches there. Kennedy to the air again, and this one is caught and then dropped. Incomplete pass, as Grenko could not hold on. Brings up another 3rd down and 7.
Well, we said it. It was gut check time for the Kennedy defense, and they respond, and it looks like City High is going to punt it away.
That was 3rd and 7. That will bring up 4th down. So it appears that the Kennedy defense,
they're going to try a field goal, 46 yards.
Into the wind. This will be Alex Fisher. And he hooked it left.
Caught the official off guard. He sprinted down the field and just barely got to that left goal post in time.
Well, you don't see a lot of 46-yard field goal attempts around here.
Certainly caught me off guard, and it was close, but not close enough.
Had enough legs, so the Cougars, after that turnover, get the ball back on their own 20.
Well, and you know, when you can attempt a field goal like that and not be penalized, but the other team gets the ball at the 20, why not give it a shot?
Trying to break a couple of tackles. Big hit down there as Meyer ran into Altmaier, and Altmaier has just really laid some wood out there tonight for the Little Hawks.
Yeah, he really put a lick on him that time. Somehow he was able to keep his feet, but he definitely went in the other direction after the hit and stepped out of bounds.
Look at David Ernst, the assistant coaches for the Cougars. Loss of 1 brings up 2nd and 11. Here's the keeper. This is Peterson. That Patterson gets out to about the 27-yard line. So Mark Patterson, that keeper that has worked pretty well on occasion, will bring up about 3rd down and a long 4.
And one of these times, City High is going to let the back go and nail Patterson, and maybe that'll be the time that Patterson hands off the ball. So far, he's kept it every time.
Patterson goes to the air, and this pass might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage, intended for Curtis Meyer.
The official down there in the middle of that play did indeed signal that the ball was tipped. So no matter what happened after that, there was not going to be an interference call against City High.
So the Cougars can only move the ball 6 yards. And Ben Mowinkle will be on to boot it away. Nice kick taken at the 45 and a big hole there for Rocca. It's down to the 38, so the Little Hawks will have great field position to start their second offensive series of the second half. Kamara in on the stop.
City High definitely with the advantage as far as field position here in the first 5 minutes of this quarter, but no points for either side so far in a game that, despite both teams being able to move the ball some, is pretty much a defensive battle.
And the Kennedy defense called upon again. Kennedy to the air. Sabres get 6 out of it.
Kennedy threw a bullet in there that time.
Cornish was there for the Cougars. So no yards after catch there for the Little Hawks.
Well, when was the last time you saw a high school football game that had this many passes? I mean, there's just no, you don't run the ball in this game. You've got to go to the air if you want to do anything offensively.
You know, it's nice to see.
Yeah.
Because you're right. A lot of schools do not like to throw the football. 2nd down and 4. Kinney. Huge hole, 1 to beat, tries to cut it back and is sucked down at the 12-yard line.
And I think it's going to come back. We've got a holding call over on the near side.
Dolan made the hit, and that's the 2nd time that on that sweep that's been wide open that the Little Hawks have been called for a hold.
And I was thinking during the course of that play, well, we said you can't run, and there he goes. And then about that time, the flag came out, so that'll back City High up to the 40-yard line.
Kinney has found some running room, though.
Especially early in this game. He was taking the ball around left tackle with pretty good success the first, better part of the first quarter, really, and they completely went away from that play in the second quarter.
Made some huge gains on 3rd down. 2nd and 11. Ball back now at the 39. Here's a draw. Cougars read it.
Oh, what a great play by the entire Kennedy defense that time. They were all over that play.
Luke Dolan was there. Nick Dolan, amongst others.
That was one of those plays where it looked like they were in the huddle. I mean, they were just on that in a hurry.
Great penetration. And there you see a lot of green jerseys surrounding Phil Kinney. Nowhere to go. 3rd down and 20. So this drive started at the 46 and now is at the 48. Kennedy goes to the air. Downfield intended for Ryan Grenko. A little too strong, but well defended by the Cougars.
They led him a little bit too much, but there were at least 3 Cougar defenders in the area who were going to close on that depending on where it went. So Kennedy, another nice job by the defense. After the penalty, they forced him into a 3rd and long situation and get the ball back again.
Hyman gets set to boot it away for the Little Hawks. Fumbles a snap, but Kennedy has the return on. Cougars will get away from this one, and the ball will be downed at the 23-yard line.
Boy, it looked like City High had 2 or 3 guys who jumped out of their down position before that snap, but no flags came out.
Houston right X6, 28 outside.
All right, we'll let someone else read that fancy shit.
Great shot there. David Ernst giving the play to Mark Patterson, senior signal caller for the Cougars. Let's see what Kennedy can do here from their own 24. Meyer drags quite a few City High players with him. Nice gain out to about the 32.
And a penalty against the Cougars will bring that back.
Meyer picking his spot here. But that 7-yard gain will be nullified, holding Kennedy. And it was holding penalties in their loss at Hempstead, the first game of the season, that really hurt a lot of drives for the Cougars.
It's been a pretty big bugaboo here for both teams in the early morning moments of the third quarter.
So all the way back to the 14-yard line, 1st and 20. In the air, Meyer can't come up with the screen pass.
I think Patterson rushed that one just a little bit.
So much timing involved with that short passing game. And
yeah, you want to get it out there quick enough so you don't lose the blockers, but at the same time, if you rush it, you can have happen what just did, and the ball falls incomplete.
2nd and 20. Ball on the 14. Patterson drops straight back. Goes deep. Intended for Hinkie. Well covered by the Little Hawks.
A little bit overthrown that time, and Kennedy really needs to get some yardage here, because otherwise they're going to be looking at a punter standing back at around the 5-yard line, and that puts a lot of pressure on the long snapper. And I would be willing to bet that with a 14-7 game, City High will send the farm to try and block it.
Because they've got close to a couple of them.
Yes, they have.
In the first half. The screen play is going to get a couple of yards, as Christensen will get about 5. But really don't get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Patterson waits about a second longer. That could have been a fumble, because he just got that ball out of there before taking a pretty big hit.
And threw it high. Good catch for Christensen to come down with it. So Mo Winkle on again to boot it away for the Cougars.
Here they come.
And they got it. This one is blocked. Danny Lake was in there along with Zach Buxton. Good call, Bob James.
We called that. Now the Kennedy defense has really got their backs against the wall. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line, and really not much Winkle could do there. Didn't seem like he was back very far off the line of scrimmage, really, and they got on him in a hurry.
So let's credit the block to Greg Altmaier.
Who else?
And just like that, touchdown Little Hawks. Phil Kinney.
And that's a blocked punt in consecutive games now for Altmaier, and that has changed the complexion of this game in a big hurry.
So just like that, one of the worst things that can happen to you in football is a blocked punt. And Kinney punches it in. What a huge momentum change. On to attack the extra point is Alex Fisher. And it's 21-7 in favor of the Little Hawks as the special teams rise up and do the job. We'll be back to Kingston after this. On the return, Blake Fisher works hard to get to about the 28-yard line. Special teams have been really solid for City High, and then Altmaier again steps up big with that block punt.
Well, he may well be the Defensive Player of the Week in the Mississippi Valley Conference again. We have called his name a lot tonight. He's already blocked a punt. And as we said, the second week in a row he's done that. So he's turning into the star of the red and white.
Kingston Stadium, Rob Brooks and Bob James with you. Our high school game of the week presented by Happy Joe's. Patterson in all sorts of trouble, and he is sacked back at the 15-yard line.
Well, he had a receiver downfield, but he was never able to get himself enough time to be able to set up to make the throw, and a big, big loss. More than 10 yards, I believe.
Sabres in on the stop, along with Matt Maynard. And they'll spot it at the 18. And again, second and long for the Cougars. There's some running room for Meyer. Hits the hole hard, but the Little Hawks close the gap. And that's Fisher along with Altmaier. Altmaier is a hitter. 6-foot senior, 6 foot 191. He's done it on defense and special teams for 2 weeks.
He sure has, and a nice gain that time of 7 yards, but again, third down and very long, and Kennedy certainly doesn't want to put the defense back on the field right away.
Patterson, plenty of time. Has a wide open receiver in Derek Hinkey. And that will be good enough for a first.
I think Phil Kenny is the one who had the defensive coverage on that, and he slipped, and that let the receiver get wide open, and he made sure he held on to the football, and that is a huge play for Kennedy to keep control of the football, get a little momentum going their way.
Good look at Patterson there, recognizing that Hinkey was wide open. He did a good job looking the field over, had plenty of time, and it gives the Cougars a first down out to the 43. Patterson across the middle, Christensen to the 46, and he is immediately surrounded. Fisher and Buxton.
Well, that was a nice job by Patterson. He was able to throw a hand up and slap down what was a pretty high snap, and then able to complete the pass and get some positive yards out of it. That could have been a disaster.
Good look at Brad Christensen. Out of the shotgun again. Patterson retrieves the high snap. Has to get rid of it quick, and it's picked off. Mullenbrook.
Got to give a big hand to Sabres, who forced Patterson to throw that football early, and although he was about 40 yards from the interception, he was a key factor for City High making it happen. See him come from right in the center of the field, and Kenny had to go, or excuse me, Patterson just had to get rid of it.
Yep, that play was trouble from the get-go. High snap, big rush by Sabres, and then right there, Mullenbrook has the second interception of the night for the Little Hawks, and the turnover gives them the ball on the Kennedy 40. Setting up the screen, and this is going to work big as Grenko gets all the way down to the 22.
And that is the perfect screen right there. You saw all the green and white jerseys of Kennedy coming, chasing Kennedy, and then you see the pass completed and a whole bunch of white jerseys out in front of the ball carrier, and that was a thing of beauty. Big yards, first down for the Little Hawks.
And look at all the blockers out in front of Grenko.
When they watch tape, that's one that the coaches will applaud, to be sure.
Might play it again. First and 10, 23-yard line. Here's the pitch. Kinney, big hole. Gets inside the 5-yard line, is finally drugged down. Initial hit by Hinkey, and then wrapped up by Mike Russell.
And there was a lot of open real estate on the near side that time. Thought he might be able to cut it back and get into the end zone. A nice job, Kennedy, not giving up on the play, coming over and helping out.
Nobody even in the screen.
Nope.
Until Kinney is inside the 10-yard line. First and goal on the 5. Kinney trying tries to pick his way through, and he will be down to the 3-yard line. Looks like he slipped, but Kennedy had Matt Dolter there, make sure he was down.
Clock rolls with under 30 seconds to go in the third quarter, a game that a couple of key turnovers by Kennedy has made all the difference in the world here in the second half.
Cougars down 14-7 at the end of 2 quarters. Second and goal now. Pass is caught, touchdown. Joel Rocco wide open in the end zone.
Well, it's pretty hard to overcome 2 interceptions and a blocked punt in 1 quarter, and Kennedy hasn't been able to do it as City High has put up 13 points in the quarter.
And 2 turnovers in the third by Kennedy has led to 2 touchdowns for the Little Hawks, so they have capitalized on that. Fisher on to attempt the extra point. This one is blocked. So, after the block by the Cougars, City High still in command by 20. Welcome back to Kingston, and the Kennedy Cougars will have the ball at the 29-yard line. And that will be the case to start the fourth quarter, as time has expired here in quarter number 3. Metro Football is brought to you by Happy Joe's Pizza. Great times to be. Well, the Kennedy Cougar mascot still in a pretty good mood. Whose pom-poms did he steal, though, huh?
Somebody is without down there.
Running play for about 5 yards, and I'll tell you, Fisher and Meyer have really been the workhorses for the Cougars on the ground. As Kennedy, who lost to Washington 55-12 last week, scored late in the game and had some momentum offensively. He was trying to move the ball. Let's see if they can generate some here early in the fourth, and maybe try to create some turnovers of their own. Pass is caught by Fisher, but immediately brought down by Zach Buxton. And I'll tell you, Zach's been a guy defensively that has been in pursuit to the Cougars as well.
Well, this is the time of the game now. Kennedy down 20. City High can afford to let him complete those passes, especially if they're going to be real short, and then just come up and get the hit right away. And Kennedy is in a position now where they're going to need some big plays, and third down and about 4 yards to go.
City High defense is ranked second in the conference, giving up only 8.5 points a game, as another pick by the Little Hawks. And there is some big running room there for Scott Knight.
And I don't know if that was a case of Patterson throwing to the wrong spot or a receiver ran the wrong route, because there was not a Kennedy receiver anywhere near where that football came down.
Knight didn't have to do anything to pick up the third interception of the night.
That was one of those where I expect it seemed like a long time, because he knew it's coming right at me. All I got to do is catch it.
And you're right, Bob. No green shirts around at all. I guess Fisher was in the neighborhood. And look at the blocking on that return.
Some wonderful blocking by the defense. That's obviously a little bit of practice going on those kind of things. And that's the third interception of the game for City High, so they've been able to work on it a little bit in this game even.
Well, I've heard from some people that the Little Hawks were supposed to be a little down this year. might have a different opinion of that after tonight. That defense is going to be tough on anybody.
It looked pretty solid to be sure, and they interestingly take a timeout here with 10:34 to go in the game, up by 20. Perhaps Dan Sabers just wants to make sure that they don't let down, number one, and number two, definitely want to take care of that football because all the momentum in the world right now is in favor of City High.
They've had great field position throughout the second half. Will be I formation for Ryan Kennedy. You have to be impressed with him, and they immediately go to the air, and that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. The penalty marker comes out, but the other official comes up saying that it was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
And both officials had it right because it's not the back official's responsibility to watch for the tip, and indeed there was contact before the ball got there. So that was perfect officiating.
Been a well officiated game tonight. So that'll go as an incomplete pass and bring up second down and 10.
Need the ball, need the ball.
A little surprised that Little Hawks will try to run some clock here. Up 20. Here's a new running back, and that will be Andrew Taylor, a 5'10 junior, as he will pick up about 7 yards to the 24.
Nice job by the City High offensive line. Made a nice little tunnel for him to burrow through for good yards. Brings up third down, and we'll see if City High keeps it on the ground or if they try and go back to the air, because you're right, they really haven't changed anything offensively. Still a lot of time left in the game, though, so probably too early to get very conservative.
But the running game has worked pretty well, and Taylor again gets a first down inside the 20.
Well, that's a real nice job by Taylor, too, who cut it upfield because he knew if he kept heading for the sideline, he might be cut off before he could get to the first down marker.
Lavin on the stop for the Cougars. So you look at Phil Kennedy, who's carried the ball most of the night for the Little Hawks. Getting a little breather. Andrew Taylor comes in. Picks up a City High first down. First and 10 on the 17. Taylor again dances. And still gets the ball for a gain of about 7. Took a lot of Cougars to bring him down.
Taylor is a good-looking junior running back, no doubt about that.
Good look at number 37. He's at 5'10", 185. So give him a gain of 6. Second and 4 from the 11. Taylor again runs hard, good enough for a first down, and is hit by Nick Dolan.
And that'll be first and goal now for City High. Kennedy just hasn't been able to overcome an awful lot of mistakes here in the second half. Pretty clean first half, a few penalties, no turnovers.
And they were in the game.
And they were 14-7 at the intermission, but here in the second half, it's been all City High. And really lucky that they're not behind by more than 20 right now.
Yep, the turnovers got to them, and City High, credit them, though, for capitalizing. Tyson Worth gets his first carry of the night. That'll inside the 5 to the 4 and bring up second and goal. And now, after that initial pass, the Little Hawks have been content to put it on the ground and have been successful that way. Here's the keeper up the middle, burrowing toward the end zone, and be about the half-yard line for Ryan Kennedy.
Well, they very nearly pushed that pile right into the end zone from about 3 yards out. Just kept moving and moving and moving, and Kennedy finally was able to get the momentum stopped.
City High taking their time, getting up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and goal. And Kennedy now is pushed back, and second effort gets him into the end zone. Touchdown, Little Hawks. A good job by the offensive line of the Little Hawks on that entire drive.
You can call them the Little Hogs if you want.
I probably should.
Those little those offensive linemen don't mind that at all. Just ask the Washington Redskins of maybe 2 decades ago. It's been a while, I guess.
Extra point is up and good by Alex Fisher. So the Hogs up front did the job for Taylor and Ryan Kennedy, and another 7 points on the board for the Little Hawks. We'll be back.
Oh, you got that right. Friday Night Lights, still the champ. John Campbell heads it up. Scott Sable and Ken Lee head to the hot games. Use Copter 9's overhead, and TV9 photographers are everywhere. The only way it's better is at the game.
Here's for the 5, touchdown Lions.
Hey, that's why it's the hottest ticket in town. Friday Night Lights, Fridays at 10 on KCRG TV9.
It's time to lace them up and bring your best game to Open Court. Sign up now and play unlimited basketball for just $20 a month. Noon games, night games, weekends, anytime, just $20. So go get your friends and sign up now. Open Court is also signing up fall leagues and fall court rentals. Call to reserve your spot today. Want more? Right now, full facility memberships are as low as $25 a month. Get the gym, cardio, strength, aerobics, racquetball, and more. Open Court on Blair's Ferry, where sports and fitness meet.
So the Kennedy Cougars will start at their own 22-yard line. Second half, Bob, that has been thoroughly dominated by the Little Hawks, taking advantage of every opportunity that the Cougars have given them.
Well, in City High, really the start of the first half, or the second half, excuse me, Kennedy got the football, and they were moving it a little bit, and then came the beginning of the turnovers, and since then, it's gotten out of hand in a pretty big hurry there. The first touchdown of this second half scored by City High with just 3:56 to go in the third quarter, and it's really changed quickly since then on the scoreboard.
There's some running room right up the middle for Curtis Meyer, and it'll be a gain of 13 out to the 35.
Seen some great efforts tonight from the backs, and that was definitely the case on that one. Continues to work his way through. There's one missed tackle and a second missed tackle, and finally the third, fourth guy bring him down.
Yeah, I saw last week how hard Meyer and Blake Fisher run the football. And there's another run by Meyer. We'll get about 7 on the play, out to the 43. Cougars quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Keep it on the ground. Patterson picks his way. And some poor tackling by the Little Hawks. And some good running by Patterson gets the Cougars into Little Hawk territory.
Well, Patterson's had a nice game tonight. He's thrown 3 interceptions here in the second half, but you know, he really has had to go to the air an awfully lot. And he's done a real nice job running that. I don't want to really call it an option because he doesn't run parallel to the line of scrimmage, but quarterback keep has gotten him a lot of positive rushing yards.
Here's Meyer again. And he twists for a couple. Good initial hit there by Mullenbrunch. So the Cougars marching down the field by way of running the football. Here's Meyer again. Sticks his nose in there and his gang tackled at the 42-yard line. Nate Mullins there for the Little Hawks. So the Little Hawks will move to 2-1. Lost their opener to the Xavier Saints and then defeated Wahlert last week at 28-0. Here's the keeper, Patterson, tiptoes to the 40. Not a lot of room there. As Mullenbrook in on the stop again.
I've seen Patterson carry the football a lot tonight, and he comes over to the sideline and talks to his coach each and every play too. So he's putting on some miles tonight.
You see more and more of that.
Yeah. Almost everybody does that now, it seems like.
Used to be wide receivers or guards or something running in plays, and now it's the quarterback coming over to the sideline, and nothing there for Curtis Meyer. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. So that drive stalls, and the Little Hawks will have 4:06 to run out the clock. And City High always have good, tough football players, and the 2003 edition is no different. New quarterback in there is a DP Iman, who's been doing the punting. Runs the option and flips it out. Taylor nowhere to go. He is racked up at the 35-yard line. Good penetration by the Cougars. Tony Hamilton made the first hit.
Well, Kennedy, good job on this play. Forcing the pitch, and then a lot of defensive help there, and able to hang on to that shoulder pad and then get some more help from his teammates.
Grant Cornish also there. Taylor again to about the 36. Hole closed quickly.
And once again, not a lot of running room that time, and third down and long, but sure, City High is going to keep the ball on the ground with just 3 minutes to go and a big lead.
Next week we will have the East against the West. The Jayhawks and the Washington Warriors right here from Kingston. Here's the pitch, and the ball's loose. Did Taylor get back on it? He did.
Well, all night we've been seeing that Kennedy defensive line able to get penetration, and that time they were on the quarterback before he could even pitch the ball. As you see, it lands well short. And very lucky for City High that they were able to get the ball back.
Ryan Lavin in the Little Hawk backfield before Iman basically had the football. Little Hawks get one more protector out on the field. And Iman will boot it away. Taken by Russell. Stays on his feet.
A nice move.
Down to the 23-yard line. So the biggest play of the night for the Kennedy Cougars, Mike Russell, on a punt return.
Well, Russell's had a big night on both sides of the ball, and now he can add special teams to that. Beautiful return and a great move there at the end to avoid the kicker, and nearly took it all the way back for 6.
Huge hole there. Basically untouched until he eluded Iman. And then the touchdown saving tackle by Roca. Cougars keep it on the ground. Russell inside the 20. See if the Cougars here can punch one in. And the pass play works as Tyler Thompson finds Grant Cornish. That's his first catch of the night. Thompson's first completion.
Thompson hung in the pocket, knew he was going to take a hit, but delivered the ball downfield, and it was a nice catch. As he was able to reach up over his head and make that grab, Grant Cornish pulled it in for big yards.
So Thompson, the 6'4" junior, showed a nice arm on that completion. First and goal. Ball on the 7. Here's Russell. Nowhere to go. He's hit and driven back at the 10-yard line. Andrew McKay.
Kennedy with all 3 timeouts left. They're not going to use any of those, but at the same time, they'd like to put some more points up on the board before we see 3 zeros.
And they'll go with 4 wide receivers. Thompson fades back, and Cornish is ripped right at the line of scrimmage. Got his hands on the ball, but the City High defense does the job.
And that'll bring up 3rd down. Time for about 2 more plays.
Thompson, 3-step drop, throws behind the receiver as the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Hutton was in the area, and it's 4th down.
And just like the starter for Kennedy, Thompson comes over to the sideline and gets the offensive plays as well.
Ball on the 10. Thompson eludes one tackler, fires it into the end zone, but coming back to make the catch on the 1-yard line. And Butters, I think, could have caught that ball in the end zone, but came back, and it will be the ball turned over on downs. Let's take a look. Thompson does a nice job. Well, it would have been tough.
Yep, it sure would have.
Ball just underthrown a little bit. Nice completion, but 4th down and goal, needed to get it into the end zone.
And only 1 second on the clock. It would have been real tough to make that catch and somehow keep his balance, but so it was a nice catch, just unfortunately doesn't put any points on the board for Kennedy.
And that's going to do it. The Little Hawks of Iowa City High move to 2-1 on the young season, and the Cougars drop to 0-3. Little Hawks 34, Cougars 7. Back to Kingston with the postgame show in a minute.
King's Material, the experts on retaining walls, carry an entire line of quality landscape products. Now you can add beauty and style to your yard with decorative wall systems, concrete pavers, stairs, and edging. From a single flower bed to complete landscaping, King's Material provides durable designs and exterior elegance with a variety of styles and sizes to fit any budget. For all your landscape needs, see the experts at King's Material, serving eastern Iowa with 3 locations.
Hi, Gary Dolphin here. You know, nothing beats the game day experience at Kinnick Stadium. And now you can relive that experience with Mediacom and the Iowa Football Replay Show. You'll have the best seat in the house as you review the best passes, catches, runs, and sacks. Tune into your local Mediacom Connections channel on Tuesday and Friday evenings from 8 until 9 to catch the Iowa Football Replay Show. It's only on Mediacom. I know I'll be watching.
Change the way you live and the world you live in with Mediacom online high-speed internet. Mediacom gives you more choices and faster connections, so you can turn almost any labor into a labor of love. Mediacom online high-speed internet, the speed you need.
Defeat the Cougars at 34-7. City High moves to 2-1 on the campaign, and the Cougars drop to 0-3. Let's take a look at the second half highlights presented by Happy Joe's. And the Cougars were on the march, but it was too many interceptions and turnovers, and this one led to a touchdown, and here it is, just a 1-yard run by Phil Kinney. City High's dominance continued in the second half as Kennedy was able to find over the middle Rocca for a 5-yard pass, and that was the second touchdown off a turnover. And then it was defense once again. Knight intercepts this one that led to another Little Hawk touchdown. And here it is from 1 yard out. The 6'5" Ryan Kennedy puts the final touches on a 34-7 victory by the Little Hawks. Let's go down onto the turf of Kingston Stadium and join Bob James.
Greg Altmaier. Greg, Defensive Player of the Week last week in the Mississippi Valley Conference, and I don't know, we'll give you our vote this week. A very, very good game by you, both sides of the ball, but especially on defense, and I think that blocked punt in the second half was very key.
Yeah. I don't know, we just came out a little flat, and then defense got it going, and we shut them down, and then holes just opened up on that punt, and I just got in and got a hand on it, so pretty fortunate for that one, and then offense just turned around and put it in the end zone, so that was awesome.
Well, we knew with Kennedy back deep in their own territory there in a very close game that you guys were probably going to come hard at that punt. Tell us about that play specifically. Is there, do you put a move on the guy? Did you just get an open spot, or how did you get in there?
Yeah, we have guys going different ways and trying to distract the upbacks, and I just got in a hole on the outside where I don't know, I just thought I was going to be there and went in, and it was just a clean shot from there. So.
Well, tell us about the defense in the second half of this game. You guys made some big plays, obviously the blocked punt on special teams, but also 3 interceptions in the second half to open up what was a 7-point game at halftime.
Yeah, players were just getting out to the flats. Malmberg had a really key interception down here and got it into the red zone, and then Scott Knight had another one, and players were just getting to the ball and making plays, so that was good.
All right, Greg, we'll let you hit the showers. Thanks a lot for coming out and joining us, and good luck.
All right, thanks.
And we switch over to Ryan Kennedy, the quarterback for City High, and Ryan has been telling us off the air here he wasn't very happy with his performance tonight.
No, I didn't. I was just kind of nervous in the pocket tonight. Their defense really did a good job keeping me, guessing with their coverage and stuff, and their blitzing, and I just couldn't really get in a rhythm. But I credit our offensive line. They opened up some good holes for Phil Kenny, and Phil made some great runs, and Mike Sabers and Joe Rock both made some big catches for me, and yeah.
And you guys tried the screen pass a couple of different times tonight, and the last time it worked beautifully. Tell us about the setup of that, because you've got those Kennedy defenders coming in your face, and you hang onto the ball just long enough, get rid of it, and it's a big play for you.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get known for our jailbreak screen. It's a really big play for us, and the first time our O-lineman kind of got in the way. I don't know, it just didn't flow quite right. But second time, we just got in there just right, and this looked great. It was a big play for us to get down here and get a score.
Absolutely. We talked about during the course of the game tonight how great it was to watch a high school football team where neither team was afraid to put the ball in the air. How do you feel about a coach that lets you throw the football? Because as a quarterback, you got to like that.
Oh yeah, I love throwing the ball, and Coach Brown, he does a pretty good job calling plays for me, because I'm not the fastest guy in the world, but he calls a lot of drop back plays for me and lets me put it up.
All right, well, good luck to you the rest of the season, and congratulations on another victory tonight.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Ryan Kennedy, the quarterback I don't want to give him that, do I? Of the
back to be a coach, but we won't go there.
There you go. And we're now joined by the head coach, Dan. A very good night. I know that you probably weren't thrilled with the performance. I know Greg mentioned you came out a little bit flat, but in the end, a great second half, especially by the defense.
Yeah, I feel pretty good overall. Every game is a learning experience, and that's kind of where we're at. And we came back and, we talked about some things at halftime. Felt pretty good about the adjustments the kids made, especially getting out in the flats. Then we did get one of those. We got a little more pressure on him. And so overall, it's another learning experience. I think we'll be able to get a lot of good things from this game.
Absolutely, and after a opening night loss, a couple of victories now, and you guys, tough. I mean, it's always tough in the Mississippi Valley Conference. Next week, a home game, and Cedar Falls comes calling, and they're never an easy team to take on.
No, they're never easy, and we've got a pretty good little rivalry going with them throughout the playoffs, throughout the years in the past, and so we know each other pretty well, and so we're looking forward to that one. I think it's a game that our kids are looking at and excited about, and I'm sure they are as well, and that's one we got to get.
Well, it's absolutely great to have them at home rather than having to travel up and play on that turf, because Cedar Falls always seems to have pretty good speed, and you put them on that AstroTurf and they just fly.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a home field advantage anywhere in football, that's probably about as good a home field advantage as you can get in high school, I think, to play in that dome, because it's just a whole different atmosphere and everything's different. And so, yeah, we're awful glad to have them down at Bates.
All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us here for a minute. Good luck the rest of the season and against Cedar Falls next week.
Well, thanks for the coverage. We appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate having you come out here and join us tonight. Again, the final score, City High 34, and it was Cedar Rapids Kennedy 7. For Rob Brooks, I'm Bob James from Kingston Stadium on Mediacom Connections.